Hello everyone and welcome to the week 6 update for Cozy Crops. Today is November 17th. Apologize in advance, I'm trying to get over a cold, so we're just going to power through this. This week we had a phenomenal week. We had 37 commits from 4 different contributors, which brings our total commits to 142 from 6 total contributors, and we just wrapped up week 6 of 18, so we are officially a third of the way through the project. This week we had Alan come in and create a beautiful background music track that we will hear in just a second. I went through and created several NPCs for the general store, the Blacksmith, the Carpenter, the Fisherman, the Grandma, and the Lumberjack, as well as the art for 3 different crops, the watermelon, the pumpkin, and the eggplant. McFunkyPants came in and did quite a bit with the weather. He created the elements for fog, the cool weather, rain, and snow. He also created the overlay sprites for the rain and the snow, as well as audio for the rain and the wind. H came in and added quite a bit to the museum side of things. He added the curator and the player, so that way they can both be in the same level. He added the empty and completed portraits, as well as the drawing layer being correct. He added the achievements manager, and if the player walks close to the different elements of the achievements, you could see what is required in order to earn them. He also added the camera fade in and out when you are entering and leaving the museum, as well as when you are going into the game. He also started on the managers for the weather and the image manager, the audio manager, and the NPC data, and he also added Grandma into the scene, so we can see that in just a second as well. Here is the contributions that I worked on. We can see that the watermelon crop now has the growth cycle there, as well as the pumpkin. And then I also added in the eggplant one, which is our only tall crop that does not have a repeat cycle at the end of it. So that's why there are no 3 elements here. I also went through and added the NPCs. So we have our general store up here, our carpenter, our miner, our grandma that will just be hanging out in the game. We have our fisherman, and we also have our lumberjack, and then there's just one more that needs to be created, which will probably get picked up next week. So let's take a look at our demo here. We're still using the same start screen. I'm going to hit start, and the moment that you hit start, you can start to hear the background music that Alan had made. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for that, Alan. We're just going to keep that going in the background as we look at the other items in the game. So you can see our grandma here being drawn in on the game. She has no interaction abilities yet, but you can see that she is in there and she is animating. Next, I want to jump on over to the museum so we can see what's going on there. I'm going to hit the M key to teleport to the museum, and we can see the camera fade in and out. So we can see that the player is moving. There's no collision yet on the curator, but you can see the curator is in the scene. And if you go up to any of these portraits, you can start to see what is required of each of these achievements in order for them to be unlocked. So that works at the back level, as well as each of these achievement placards and the statues. So that is really cool now that the player has a quote-unquote goal for them to work on here. So go ahead and leave, and we'll come back out where we entered into the field of play. I've got my notes here of what we want to work through. So the N key still functions as a new day, so you can see it rolling forward in the top right up there. We also have McFunkyPants worked on quite a few of the weather elements here. So this is our clear weather. We can hit the F key, and we can start to see that it fades in with a fog level. So that is awesome. I'm going to restart it here so we can see the different weather elements not stacking on top of each other. We have the V key, which turns on our snow element. So McFunkyPants was very clever in this, in that he took like a star element and then sort of warped that one in order to make it look like snow. So that is really cool. And let's also look into our rain element here. So if we press the R key, we can start to see and hear the rain. So I'll turn this up a little bit. So that is really cool, and the neat thing about it is the music and the weather also work when you are inside of the museum, but the rain doesn't show up, so that is a nice little detailed touch in there. So that is everything that is currently in the game here. So we'll close this out, and we'll take a look at the Vikunja board here. We have a couple more items that didn't quite get all the way done this week, but we're really close to hooking all of these systems together that we can start to wrap up that core loop functionality. So we still have quite a bit going on in terms of code. So the museum is almost done. The weather is almost done. Foraging is almost done. You could see in our inventory, we did have a sunflower there, but you can't walk over it and add it to your inventory quite yet. So next will be the farming growth cycle tying into the weather aspect of it. We have a couple more art elements tied into specifically the trees, as well as a couple more crops to do. We are also going to be starting to work on the general store where you can buy crops and sell crops so that we can get more money, so that way you can plant more seeds, as well as tying in the weather into the actual day and time-based elements of the game. So that is our update for Cozy Crops. Thanks, everybody.